As the world moves towards net zero and cleaner forms of energy, the demand for the critical minerals needed to power that transition grows by the day. Chile is home to the world's largest copper and lithium reserves, placing it at the heart of the green revolution. But there is an environmental cost, and in Chile's Atacama Desert, the scale of the industrial processes are having consequences for those living near the mines. From there, economics and data editor Ed Conway has this special report.
In the desert in the north of Chile is a town unlike anywhere you've ever seen. A town whose story is inextricably intertwined with our lives. An untold story about the consequences of the 21st century economy. The Chuquicamata mine. More than a century old, more than a kilometre deep. And you just saw it getting even deeper. High explosives blasting another enormous hole in the bottom of this. The biggest man-made hole in the world, and all to satisfy our insatiable demand for copper. 1 in 12 of every atom of copper we have ever extracted from the Earth came from here. There's a good chance there's some of it in the device you're watching this on. But this is really a story about something bigger than just copper. It is a story about scale. About how our hunger for natural resources is already reshaping the world. Because if we are to satisfy our demand for copper for wind turbines and solar panels and electric cars, we will need to build another 3 of these mines every single year. And because you have to move many tons of earth to extract even a small amount of copper, that means, well, have a look. The waste rock from the mine is slowly burying the town of Chuquicamata. Somewhere underneath this pile is what was once the most advanced hospital in South America. This ghost town is preserved more or less as they left it a few years ago, when the rocks began to swallow it up. There's lots of abandoned towns around the world, but there's nothing quite like this one. This used to be the old town square, and you can see there was a social club over there, there's a bank, a theatre, an indoor gymnasium, apparently the first indoor gymnasium in Chile. And over here, this obviously was a playground. There's a slide, there's a model of Pinocchio, and beyond it is one of the main schools in town, and you can see the roof has fallen in and some of the murals have been exposed that the children clearly used to enjoy. But overshadowing everything is that enormous mound of rubble, and that basically is the explanation for why this place is so empty and so desolate. The other reason they left the town was toxic fumes from the refinery. Most of the community moved to nearby Calama, 10 miles away. But even there, residents worry that the air wafting down from the mine is causing serious consequences. Like most residents, Andrea comes from a mining family. Everyone here makes their living out of copper, so few speak out. She is one of the exceptions.
Mira, nosotros tenemos altos índices de arsénico en el aire, porque la minería lo que más genera al aire es arsénico. ¿Ya? Y el arsénico es muy nocivo para la salud de la población. Es decir, nosotros tenemos los índices más altos de mortalidad de cáncer a nivel nacional y uno de los niveles de cáncer más alto en América Latina.
Codelco, which runs the mine, declined to comment. But the people here are fighting an unstoppable force. And since electric cars need double or even 3 times the copper you get in a petrol car, the holes get even deeper. Here, in a neighbouring pit mining the same vein, the diggers keep digging and the trucks keep lugging the ore and waste rock up from the hole 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. After it's refined, the pure metal is piled high on trains and prepared for export.
And this is a part of that hidden infrastructure upon which we all rely, getting the copper down from the mountain through here to the port and onto ships so that it can come to Europe and the rest of the world.
And alongside the tracks which carry this precious cargo, a reminder that this is one of the most unequal countries in the world. After mining, the biggest political issue is the gap between haves and have-nots. Copper, they say, is the new oil. And as we electrify everything to reach net zero and reduce our reliance on fossil fuel states, these are the exports we all rely on. And if copper is the new oil, perhaps that makes Chile the new Saudi Arabia.
Sí, para Chile, el motor de la economía en Chile es la industria minera. Aporta muchísimo a la economía chilena y nosotros trabajamos, somos proveedores, entregamos un servicio a la industria minera. En esta industria somos parte, ¿cierto?, de este motor y queremos seguir siéndolo y por eso nos estamos preparando para poder crecer y transportar más cargas que permitan mayor producción de cobre y de litio.
But this is not just a land of copper and lithium. It is a place of haunting beauty, of unique ecosystems, of animals living in fragile harmony with their surroundings, in a desert where it hardly ever rains. This is the Salar de Atacama, one of the world's biggest salt flats. A vast expanse underneath which are vast riches.
Here in one of the world's most extreme environments, beneath this thick crust of salt caked with sand, it's the world's biggest reserves of lithium, that crucial material that goes into pretty much all rechargeable batteries and is going to help us to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels.
More than a quarter of the world's lithium comes from here, much of it mined by a local company called SQM. But this is a very different kind of mining to extracting copper. It is mining an ancient underground reservoir of brine, concentrated salt water. This is the first moment that brine has seen the sun in millions of years. And over months in these enormous pools, the desert sun slowly evaporates the water, leaving this. This greeny-yellow liquid is one of the most important substances in the world.
It's funny, isn't it, to think that one of the most advanced forms of technology these days, rechargeable state-of-the-art batteries, begin their life with that glugging noise over there as that concentrated brine solution is pumped through from that pond over to this one. Look, you can see it coming out there. Now that is about 25% lithium chloride. That is going to go into your smartphone battery or your electric car. Okay, wow, it's really yellow.
Oh, it's very yellow-green,
Yeah.
very concentrated, if you had the chance to touch it, it's oily.
Okay.
So it looks like a taste,
interesting.
feels like oil, because it's so, the viscosity is so high.
It's a special place, this place, then.
Oh, definitely yes. These are the special conditions for the salar to form. These mountains, falls, volcanic rocks, water, and perfect condition for evaporation, so arid places.
In the arid hills and villages above the salar, water and money are scarce. The people here look down at those great pools that hint of great riches and warn of great damage. Pamela's family has lived here as long as anyone can remember, but now, as the outside world pushes for more and more resources, their way of life is under threat.
Sino que ahí llega la minería haciendo toda la invasión que tienen que hacer y se sacan el agua y se lo han tomado sus derechos de agua, lo han inscrito sus derechos de agua como diciendo esto es mío, esto es propio. Eso es lo que molesta, porque nosotros estuvimos primero acá en este territorio. Yo creo que también tenemos derecho a vivir tranquila y entre comillas, como se dice, calidad de vida que lo ven en otros países de donde usted viene. Entonces dentro de eso, si somos todos seres humanos, yo digo. Todos somos seres humanos.
The miners admit they're using water, but they deny it has any effect on the villagers' supplies. Even so, you cannot escape the compromises here. And as we buy more electric cars with all their batteries, it means more demand for what comes out of the SQM refinery on the edge of the desert, where they process that yellow brine into battery-grade lithium. They call this white gold. There's enough in this warehouse alone for 40,000 electric cars. And with lithium prices at record highs, it is worth many millions of pounds. But how to balance this profit against the environmental losses? For as the world looks towards Chile for all these materials, its new government is drafting new rules which could constrain production.
En términos de contaminación o escasez hídrica. Para nosotros esa es una preocupación importante. Si es que no hacemos esto de adecuar nuestras instituciones, adecuar los requerimientos, adecuar los estándares ambientales a lo que la propia sociedad está demandando hoy, sería muy difícil mantener la actividad minera en el largo plazo.
And in what they hope will mark a new political dawn, the country is rewriting its constitution, which also means more controls on mining. Biologist Cristina Dorador is among the authors.
It's a big paradox in the middle of the Atacama Desert, which is the driest desert of the world, to evaporate water. And as we have studied, there have been a decrease in flamingo population in the last 10 years. Circa of 12% of the flamingo population have decreased. It's impossible to live without mining. We need materials, of course, but the scale is huge and it's affecting long-term our ecosystems.
SQM disputes that analysis, but makes no bones about what it is doing.
There is no human activity without any impact. We are causing an impact here, yes, but the key is to keep that impact under control, mitigate the risk. So it's mining, yes. The alternative is just doing nothing, but you need that material. You're gonna get that material from one place or another.
As the world pushes towards net zero, replacing fossil fuels with wind and solar power, electrifying everything, the demand for the materials they have in this country will only intensify. And so too will the compromises and the question marks. As pristine environments, untouched since the dawn of humanity, face a new age of mineral exploitation.
Brilliant special report there from Ed Conway.